Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything, your blue sky. I go to war, I'll fight. Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything.
You know, one of the first things that you learn about being a stepdad, one of the very, very first things, is that you want to try to please everyone. You're not only trying to please your spouse, but you're trying to please the kids, you're trying to please the in-laws, you're trying to please the friends, you're trying to please the neighbors. You are doing everything you can to try to display this sense of confidence to everybody that's watching the beginning of your journey, because we don't want to disappoint. And sometimes for a lot of us stepdads, it's unconscious, right? Like we don't even realize that we're doing it. So we find ourselves agreeing to some of the dumbest shit, or we find ourselves listening to advice or feedback from people that don't know they don't know shit about being a step parent. They want to try to give you the very, this advice about, how to parent and what you should do and what you should not do and the rules and how society sees it. And, they'll give you some, background on their life and what their step parent did, whatever. I'm not trying to say don't take advice from people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying be wary about the people who you take advice from. But we start off our journey. We begin this process not wanting to let anyone down. We begin this process not wanting to disappoint anyone. We begin this process of step parenting with this goal, with these thoughts in our heart and in our mind, where we are trying to prove everyone wrong. And one of the reasons that we're trying to do that is because that's because of what we know about step parenting, right? They're evil. They're alcoholics. They're child molesters. They beat their kids. And everything that society labels us as. It's this social narrative that says that you're rolling the dice when you're dealing with a step parent. You're rolling the dice when you're bringing in this new mom and this new dad into this relationship. You're rolling the dice because, there are certain boundaries and there's a line in the sand, right, that they cannot cross, no matter what, never. And there are people that will literally be on a mission to make sure that you never cross those boundaries, that you never cross that line, that you stay constrained to these rules and regulations that step parenting. Here's a lot of the bio parents don't understand this shit. A lot of people that ever want to know about what it means to be a step parent will never understand this, that when we become a stepdad or a stepmom, when we step into this new family, when we start this new journey, unknowing to us, we sign this document, this social document, and we sign our name to it. That specifically states that we are going to abide by the rules set forth, and we are going to pay attention to the do's and the don'ts for step parents that have been laid out before we were ever there. And the problem with that is that they're all ignorant steps. They're all ignorant. The guidance is dumb. The rules and regulations are fucking stupid. But they were put there and they were repeated consistently through families over periods of time, to where it just became sort of like this is what step parents have to follow no matter what. And one of the things that we do is we are trying to please everyone. Like we already start off behind the eight ball, right? We're starting out, well, if this was a sprint, 100 yards, everybody's took off 3 seconds ago, and then we just now started. We are trying our best to catch up. And we think that in order for us to catch up and to show our value and our worth, that we need to just agree to fucking dumb stuff. We need to agree with what everybody says and does and things that people have done before us. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting because we are becoming yes men. And that's really what today's episode is about. It's about don't become a yes man. Don't become a yes man to your kids because you're trying to win their approval. Don't become a yes man to your friends, family, in-laws, and the others because you're trying to win their approval. Don't become a yes man to your spouse because you're trying to win her approval or his approval. Don't become a yes man to yourself, meaning that you are ignoring what you feel your intuition is telling you to do, and you're just doing what the social norms are saying is right. That is a yes man. And when we become a yes man, people will take advantage of us. When we become yes men and we, think about it, in corporate America, you don't want a yes man. You want somebody that's going to challenge you. You want somebody that's going to spark creative activity in your mind, so where you can both come to a conclusion that's beneficial for the entire company. Now, just take what I just said and place that into your family. You want to make sure that when making decisions, when laying down new rules, not even rules, when laying down new principles, habits, routines, when you're trying to break that inherited ignorance that we all come up with, you want to make sure that you're doing it as a team, that you're doing it together, and that you're not saying yes to everything. You're not trying to win the approval of anything or of anyone. And you're gonna see that, especially the stepkids, you're gonna see that the kids are gonna test you, and they're gonna test you in a big way. Some of you, most of you will fold. Most of you will just do what they say because you're trying to win that approval and that love and that admiration from the kids. And what you're doing is you are crippling yourself for the future. You are crippling yourself for the moment too, because they know now that they could take advantage of you. And more important, and I want you to remember this, kids are smart. They know what they're doing. They understand fully how they can manipulate you. And if you are willing to be manipulated, well then you don't need to be there in the first place. Look, these kids, your new family, they don't need a savior. That's not why you're there. You're not there to save anyone. You're not there to try to force them to be like you or like your childhood was, or any of that crap. You're not trying to do any of that. If you said yes to being a step parent, if you raised your hand, if you stepped forward, if you stepped in, what they need more than anything is they just need security. They need to know that they can trust you. They need to know that they can depend on you, that they can count on you. One of the best things that I've learned about being a dad so far, out of everything I've done, from making movies to writing short stories and books for my middle daughter Clara, the one thing I learned, universal, that stands true right now and will forever stand true for all dads, is if you really want to make an impact in your family, show up, be there, be dependable, work on yourself, better yourself, better your relationship, listen, learn to communicate. When you get home from work, be present. Just because you spend time at home doesn't make you a good dad. It doesn't. Because you're there doesn't make you a good dad. You need to be present in the moments. Pay attention. Do the things that are needed in order to build those relationships so that they become stronger. That when your kids grow up and they talk to their kids, when they refer to you and they talk about you, and when you came into their life, they talk about you in a way that is littered with positive routines and habits and positive things that you did, where you were stern when you needed to be, and you were funny when you needed to be, and you were loving when you needed to be, and you said yes when it was earned. And that's another thing too. Like, just because that they are not your kids, and this is going with just remember this, when you're dealing with bio parents and you're the step parent, a lot of times the two bio parents are going to be competing with one another. Therefore, one or the other one will be giving those kids everything. Your job is to create stability. That's it. Your job is to create stability, to create new habits and routine, and to show them that the house that you are building with them, the journey that you are going on with them, is going to consist of all the elements: love, happiness, fun, good times, bad times, punishments, being stern, saying yes. I mean, it has to be filled with it all. But here's the thing. You can't do any of that, stepdad. You're not allowed to do any of that. And I'll tell you why. Society will tell you you're not allowed to do anything that I just said because that is not your place. That is not your place in this family. What the fuck are you doing there then? I mean, you're not there to be some placement holder in some sort of a family picture for Christmas cards. That's not why you're there. And if you are in a family and you find yourself like, holy shit, like, honestly, all I am is the Christmas cards. Other than that, I really have no say in this family. If that's you, get out of there. And that has nothing to do with the kids and your partner. It's not their fault. They're just the partner or your partner or the family or the others have decided to put you on the path of destruction that's going to lead to you leaving anyway, or you staying but being miserable. So, but society will tell us that we're not allowed to do any of that. But here's another reason why you can't do that. Let's just say we cut society out of it. Let's just say we don't listen to the social norms. You're not allowed to do that until you work on you first. You're not allowed to do that. How can you possibly be a great leader, mentor, father, husband if you're not working on you? If you're not fucking figuring out why you react and act certain ways? If you're not doing that for yourself, then you have no place in your family to be setting down any rules. Because here's the thing, they're not going to be your rules. They're going to be the rules that you grew up with. And for most of us, like myself, some of these rules work and a lot of them don't. And that's just facts. I'm not blaming my parents for anything, but I had to learn to let a lot of shit go. I had to learn to move past a lot of shit. I had to learn that a lot of the reasons that I would react certain ways, or I'd get pissed off or depressed or mad or sad or glad, whatever it might be, was because of how I was raised. And I would be mimicking them or doing the things that they did. And I had to get rid of that in order to move forward with my family. And that's how you build that trust. That's how you become a great leader. I spent time in the military, and I know one thing about being a leader. And that is that nobody's going to follow you if you're fucking don't know what you're doing. Nobody's going to follow you if you're a butter bar lieutenant trying to lead a company into some sort of an exercise or situation. Not a lot of people respect butter bars. And butter bars, you guys, is a lieutenant. But anyway, what I'm trying to say to that is that you got to earn the respect of the people around you before they're going to follow you into battle. And that's the same thing that goes for your family, your kids, and everybody around you. You have to show everyone that you're there to stay, that you're there to be the rock, that you're there to be the person that they can depend on most. They need to know that you're not going to leave. Remember, social norms. When you're not around, the things that the friends say, the TV says, the radio says, other friends that have step-parents, whatever it may be, the social norm is, be careful of that stepdad. I mean, that guy, just be careful what you're doing. Think about it like me. For my situation, I think I've said this a couple times. The family that I came into, 4 girls, right? 4 girls, 1 boy, and I'm the stepdad. So what does social norms say about me when it comes to the 4 girls? I'll let you go ahead and you let your imagination fill that in. And that's what I dealt with. That's what I dealt with because social norms said that I was going to be the blank person. It didn't matter how long I've known my wife. It didn't matter how long I've known my in-laws. It didn't matter. I was now considered the step. Therefore, I needed to watch my step. And if I would have laid down and been the yes man to that, I probably would have left a long time ago. This show wouldn't exist, and I wouldn't have the relationship that I do with my spouse and my kids. So, gentlemen, you want to be a great leader? You want to be a great mentor? You want to fucking succeed in this journey as a stepdad? Then don't be a fucking yes man to the kids, to the others, to your spouse, or to yourself. Don't be. Follow your intuition and your gut. Learn to work on yourself. Build that teamwork with your partner. Then learn to communicate with your kids so that you can properly put yourself in a position of positivity and strength when it comes to building those relationships with them. And if you don't do that, you will lose. Period. End of story. So don't be a yes man. I'm going to work my ass off every day on myself. I'm going to work my ass off every day to try to figure out how to not be my past, how to forgive my present, and how to move forward with my future. I'm going to work every effing day at this until I feel that I've done the necessary work in order to take a step back and feel satisfied. But only satisfied in that moment, because guess what? And this is something that I'm learning over the last couple of years. You guys, kids grow up, they change, they evolve, and then they leave. And new problems and new scenarios happen. And you've got to be ready. And you cannot be ready if you just stop working on you. You can't. Maybe you fixed your age 5 through age 10 mindset of the way you react and act to things, but you didn't fix the rest. So you were good, and all of a sudden now, boom, the kids grow up and you have no idea how to handle situations because you weren't consistently doing the work. So don't be a yes man to anyone. I beg you, please don't. Because the more yes men we have as stepdads, the longer it's going to take me to fucking change this narrative around what it means to be a stepdad. I'm going to change the narrative. And it's going to take me a while. And I think I've made my peace with it. But the more men that decide to work on themselves, the more men that don't become yes men and that follow your intuition and be the great leader men, not the easier this is going to be, but I can at least pick my slow walk up to a jog when it comes to changing this narrative around what it means to fucking empower stepdads, to empower men like me and men like you to understand that it's okay to be strong and confident, but it's also okay to be fucking emotional and cry. It is. It's just okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to seek guidance. If you're here and you're watching this show, you may not ever hear this from anybody you know, but fucking it's exciting. You have to feel excited for yourself because you're here. That means you're actively seeking knowledge to become a better person. That's fucking amazing. And I'm so proud of you. All right, guys, this is the Professional Stepdad Show, episode 71. Thank you guys for joining me. If you have not, please like, subscribe, share our YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, what else? SoundCloud, iTunes, shows everywhere. Bigger the platform, the bigger the voice, so I can help more men like me in my situation. Guess what? Just step parents in general. Be good.
Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right by you. I'll be your everything.
Quiet on the set, please. Thank you, everybody.